I mean, I've been holding it back for a while, yeah. So I mean, it's been holding it back from good like friends and family and stuff. So this is no problem for me, you know. Eventually, it's going to come out. So just everything comes with time, doesn't it?
Is there some positives to that in a way? Like you don't have the outside drama, people asking maybe to talk to you, talk about your opponent, all these kind of things. You can just specifically focus on what you have to do Friday.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously ups and downs to it, but I mean, I think that the best thing to it is it keeps me relevant, doesn't it? You know, season comes to the end, and all the people are going to remember is that fight, aren't they? So and me, so yeah, it's all worked out for the best, you know.
Yeah, and it's a crazy fight. I mean, is that the best fight you've ever been part of?
I mean, watching it back, yeah. I mean, to watch it back, I was a fan myself. You know, I was kind of forgot I was in there. So, I mean, it's what fight fans want to see. As a fighter, it's probably not the best. You know, you're taking all that damage, but I mean, I'm in this sport to like I say, leave a legacy, and you know, and just for people to have to look back and see these kind of fights, and you know, I'm just glad to be a part of it.
How much do you learn about yourself going through the show? You know, you lose the first fight, you get brought back, another opportunity, you get your redemption, here you are in the final. I mean, can you just describe what you learned about yourself going through those, trials, tribulations?
Yeah, I mean, I learnt a lot, you know, a massive amount, especially after my first fight with Bryce. I could become obsessed with, you know, getting back in there and getting a win and getting my hand raised. It just didn't sit well with me leaving that house only having one fight, you know. So as soon as I got in there and I got back on the gym, I got back on the mats the next day after Bryce, and I just put back in the hard work, and like you say, everything just started playing out to have that fairy tale ending kind of thing, you know.
How much did it help you to have a teammate? I see Luke Barnett here that already went through the Ultimate Fighter experience.
Well, yeah, well, you know, I made it to the final. Luke did it, but no, it's great. You know, I mean, if you look through the past seasons, you know, there's been some crazy seasons and some guys that have had an easy road, some had a hard road. You know, for me going onto the show, there was no fights getting into the house. You know, if I didn't make it to the semi-final, I was only leaving there with one fight, and this one thing that didn't stick well with me. You know, especially going onto the show. All I heard was Luke like, "Oh, I had 3 fights in the house, you know. You got, you know, and a fight to get so it's." But some guys out there have truly earned their way to where they are. You know, when I met Kelvin Gasson last night, you know, a pure example. Luke was telling me about him. So he's had a lot of fights in the house. You know, he was the underdog in the house. So this going into the house was, I just had to stay focused on what I wanted to do and make sure I put in every bit of effort. So leaving the house only having one fight wasn't sitting with me, you know.
As an undefeated fighter, how much did that first loss that you had sting?
It was nothing, you know, because like I say, I've said before, like I've had a lot of loss in my life and stuff. So fighting is just a privilege for me, you know. But it's as well, it's something where I can channel my demons, and you know, and it helps me go forward in my life. So regardless of what happens, as long as I give 100%, I don't care about the outcome, you know what I mean. But with that Bryce fight, it was a lot harder because I give everything, but you know, it just wasn't me that day, you know. So, but you know, I got it all back with my fight with Tyler for sure, you know.
Getting that second opportunity, did it feel like it was you're almost playing with house money? Like, did you kind of go into that fight feeling like you had nothing to lose?
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, I didn't go in there with just the mentality of right, let's just swing and, you know, see what happens. I did go in there with that mentality of like, you know, visualising was like a big thing that week, especially up to that fight. You know, I just kept visualising my hand being raised, and you know, and like DC said, I weren't going to be denied, and I felt it. You know, as soon as I got in that cage and I looked across at Tyler, I felt something from him that he knew he was in for a fight. You know, he knew that this wasn't going to be no easy fight for him, and you know, coming down to the mental toughness on that show, I believe that no one beats me. So I knew going into that fight, you know, I had what it takes to come out as the winner, and Tyler, I felt that from Tyler. You know, I did felt that. So that first overhand that landed, and then the second one, you know, it soon woke me up, and you know, the rest is history. You know.
I know the timeline's kind of like always chopped up on the show. How much time took place between your loss and then your chance to come back?
I think it was probably, I want to say 10 days, maybe 10 days.
So not even 2 weeks.
Might have been about 10. Yeah, it's a bit longer than 10 days, so probably. Yeah, around that. Yeah. So, I mean, I was, like you say. I mean, I never missed a training class. In one session, you have Stipe, ask all the coaches on the team. I never missed one class, and so it was just from day one, from there till that fight, I was just training. So I never sat back and was like, just relaxed and kick back. There was times in the house, and you would relax and chat with the guys and whatnot like that. But when it comes to being on the mat, it was like solid 5-6 weeks of just keeping my head down and training.
Those 10 days, did you just have your head on a swivel looking for any
I
possible
was obsessed. I was obsessed with having my hand raised because I knew another opportunity would come up. Speaking with Luke, and just seeing the seasons before, all sorts of things happen on this show, and we've seen it throughout the season. The craziest things happen. So I knew that I had to just stay focused, keep training, and my opportunity would come if it was meant to be. And I truly believed it would be. And that obsession I had with my hand being raised was literally, it was crazy. After that Bryce fight, I laid awake all night like this ain't it. Do you know what I mean? There's no way. Like I say, when I went to see Dana, I mean, you didn't really see a lot of the interview, but I sat there with Dana and was like, I told him that not fighting to get in the house sucked, and the fact that I'm only having one fight doesn't sit well with me. I need to leave here having another fight, and going up to lightweight was I didn't care. Do you know what I mean? I needed to have that one more fight to prove that when people watch me back home, because say, at least he's done what he can to get to the final and put in the effort, because some people just sat back and waited for the opportunity, and I wanted to take it.
And it's a great storyline, obviously, getting back, getting that second opportunity, going through that tough fight. Dana White called it one of the best fights ever on The Ultimate Fighter, but I'm sure you don't want to be known as that guy who has to go through that. So.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, when you say it like that?
So going into Friday, I mean, do you see with this fight, an opportunity to get a clean, dominant kind of win, and show that you're not just going to be that fighter that's has to be the comeback guy, or that's known as like a tough guy or whatever? Yeah,
I mean, again, it's from that Tyler fight and coming out of the house, I've learned a lot, obviously, through myself and just my fighting style. I've always been known as just a tough guy, a slugger. Just gets through and. I've got the cardio to keep going and going, but one thing I've worked a lot on in this fight is my focus, and just that confidence in any area where I go, and Bryce fight I made mistakes because I didn't feel, I was more worried about what he was good at than what I should be doing. So the mistakes that I made, lost me that fight. So coming into this fight with Brad, I've just got to stay focused on what I've got to do, and just go out and just give it, like I did against Tyler, but let's not try and get hit,
British fighters have got a rich history in the Ultimate Fighter. What does it mean to you to be like the next British guy to come through the process, and how much does it mean to sort of represent the UK and England?
I spoke about it with Luke before we left, and some guys on the show. It's like the last British guy to win the Ultimate Fight was Michael Bisping. You had Ross Pearson, but that was the tough smashers. I'm talking about a mix of obviously people, but the last person was Michael Bisping. The guy's just retired, and it kind of, it's a cool feeling. It's a really, it's a nice little honour to be able to be in the finals of Brit. There's not been many there, so to be able to go out there and do it, and hopefully, cement my own legacy and do something for myself and my dad's name. It's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it.
And your time as a serviceman before you really got into professional MMA, how valuable experience was that for you now when you're getting in the cage? Because in terms of comparing the sort of the differences in what you have to deal with, it's chalk and cheese.
Yeah, it is. You're right, but in the same time, the similarities are obviously quite a lot the same. So, the one thing that helped me, I think, because people that know me back a few years ago and stuff, I'm quite immature. I like to mess about. I like to do stupid things. I've got I'm a bit of a loose cannon. So but going on to that show, I just took on that kind of mental toughness from the military, like you say. So I've grown into. I haven't grown into a mature, grown man. I've just learned a lot of lessons, and even coming out to the show, things that have happened in my past of, almost caught up with me coming out here, and you know, so my my mental like maturity and stuff like that is come a long way, and just that focus game, you know. I've just got to stay true to myself and what I've been doing, because what I've been doing is working, you know.
Michael Bisping didn't exactly have the easiest rise to becoming a champion, but what did you take away from his ascension, and how much did it inspire you in your own career?
I mean, Michael Bisping is obviously, you know, you can never compare yourself to him, can you? You know, because the guy's, you know, he's the man, you know. So I've never really looked up to kind of people in that kind of sense. I've always just done things for me, but I think he, one thing I did learn from him is just that, you know, like them comments, what he used to say and thing, you know, this can change my life. You know, I'm doing this for an opportunity to make my family's life better, and you know, he really like go through that show. He really cemented his name in the sport, hasn't he? So, you know, something that I want to do. I mean, I'm not one of these that talks, you know, highly of being the best fighter in the world champion. I'm just one of these that I want to go out there and you know, if I can do half what Michael Bisping's done, you know, I'll sleep well at night, you know, and I'll go to my grave a happy man.